So, we've done this whole thing in the channel before. GMod's my favorite game, FNAF is my favorite franchise, they have a long history, everybody knows this. And in my two previous videos, the one on the huge Freddy Fazbear's Pizza map and the one on the FNAF pill packs, I haven't even begun to scratch the surface because GMod has an unfathomable amount of FNAF content. And today I picked out some ones that are semi-obscure or just not very well known by the general public, and I want to talk about them. So we all know the original FNAF 1 GMod map, which is actually in the background right now, and then there's also the iconic Five Nights at Freddy's 2 GMod map. Both of these are incredibly recognizable, everybody knows about them. And back in the day in the community, it was a very, very big topic of discussion. Hey, when is this guy gonna make a third one? Or heck, maybe even a fourth, since FNAF 4 was out by the time people were still asking this. And sadly, the playable FNAF 3 in GMod and the playable FNAF 4 in GMod never ended up coming to fruition. The original two FNAF maps and a lot of very iconic FNAF maps in GMod as a whole were created by Keithy. And more obscurely, Keithy actually did create a FNAF 3 map. But this map never received the videos with millions and millions of views that the first two maps had due to not receiving events. And to anyone who may not know what events and no events means in the terms of Garry's mod, if a map has no events, that means it's basically just a sandbox map that you can do whatever in. If it has events, that means it's fully functional and you're intended to play it like the original game it's based on. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the cause of this map's events being cancelled was. I believe it was just probably, not having the motivation to continue developing it, since I assume it takes a ton of effort to get a working FNAF game in a GMod map. Especially with the more complicated menus and mechanics that FNAF 3 introduces. The mask for the FNAF 2 map was already pretty scuffed with how it was implemented as like a locker, I guess. And how there wasn't really a solid way to wind the music box and stay in the office. But before we talk any more about the FNAF 3 map, I got something to tell you. The Night Bunny plush is almost halfway sold, and it might even be halfway sold by the time this video's out, and while I don't know how much longer there is at the time recording this, I do know that time is of the essence. Estimating there's probably about 2 weeks to get the plush at this point, so if you want it, act fast! I'm so proud of this thing. This thing is just everything I could have possibly hoped and dreamed it was. It looks perfect. So if you want to go the extra mile in supporting the channel and you're able to, get one, because it's awesome, and it's really cool, and I made sure it was as high quality as it could be, and yeah. Alright, I'll talk to you guys back in the video, I guess. So yeah, I could definitely see how something like this could end up just being cancelled, because recreating FNAF 3 in GMod is definitely a task, and to my knowledge, nobody's actually successfully done it. There's absolutely been attempts to create a working version of this map, but I haven't really seen any that actually work, at least not that I can figure out how to get them to work. Which is a shame, because I do think this is definitely the best map that Keithy made in terms of the Five Nights at Freddy's map, because all of this one is so cool, so detailed, it looks fantastic. For the time this was released, this was a damn good recreation of the FNAF 3 map. And despite it never getting events on GMod, it was still used very much by the community. Albeit primarily on the source filmmaker side of things, but hey, it got a bunch of use out of it, so it's not like this map was for nothing, it's just kinda sad that it never got its original purpose fulfilled. There's this mod for the map that is supposed to give it events, and I've seen some people say that it apparently works, but I can't figure it out for the life of me. Maybe someone in the comments knows how to get this thing to work, but I could not figure out how to get this map to function properly, so yeah, it doesn't seem like the fan recreations are giving me much luck. But they do have some assets for Springtrap, so I can put him around the map and see how that could have looked, and yeah, I see the vision. He's a little small, but I see the vision. It does capture the FNAF 3 vibes fairly well.
William Afton. I seem to have a problem here. Yes, I seem to be trapped inside the Springlock suit. This didn't go the way I expected it, but I will give you the remnant to live forever.
So anyway, not too much else to say about that map. I probably said way more than I I said as much as I possibly could, I think, because there's not really much, like, there's not really any hidden details or anything. It's not like the FNAF 1 map where you got, like, the kitchen, or the FNAF 2 map where you got that weird endoskeletons there for no reason. So, that was a fun little experience. So anyway, let's introduce ourselves to another map that actually is playable. So this next one I want to talk about is fairly recent, being released in August of last year, and it's definitely a joke map, but it's one that it's actually very functional, so I felt like it was worth mentioning. This is FNAF 1, also known as a FNAF 1 recreation. Created by Stressed Cat in a box, and I think the icon says everything you need to know about this map. From what I can tell, it's a very similar map to the original FNAF 1 map, however, it was made from the ground up, just using GMod, Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike assets and stuff, with the addition of some FNAF models. But the existence of this seems to just be the person who made it probably just was like, okay, I'm gonna recreate FNAF 1 in GMod and see how good I can do. And honestly, I think this is pretty good. And it even has some features that the original FNAF 1 map missed out on. So without further ado, let's get into what the heck is in this map.
I'll be Poe.
This is very laggy.
Am I a Teletubby now?
No. I feel like the best way to describe this map is committing to the bit. Of all the GMod FNAF recreations I've seen, this is the one that stays the most tried and true to Half-Life 2. To the point where, if you kill an animatronic, for example, from cheating, it will actually just do this. It actually just does the mission failed thing from Half-Life 2 and restarts the map. I've genuinely never seen a Garry's Mod map do that, and I love that. Also, this office setup is just a vibe. The crappy recreation of the Celebrate poster, the radio, the camera, the big, like, touchpad for the camera switchers, and then it's half covering the monitor behind it. The fact that the cameras don't really work too well in the sense that when you click on one, it just kind of flickers on for a second and doesn't stay there, which can make trying to figure out where an animatronic is very tense. Or there's the alternative when you're playing in single player where the camera just takes over your entire face, which is honestly way better, but not nearly as charming. Another thing with the commitment thing with this map, the animatronics all just use the default Half-Life 2 animations, and it looks so funny when they're just scrambling around everywhere, because you can see them move entirely. They don't just snap in place like what most FNAF maps do. And I love this map a lot for this. Making the animatronics just actual Garry's Mod Half-Life 2 NPCs is something that I've never seen anybody do before, and it works surprisingly well. Like, they follow their paths pretty well. They bump into each other every now and then, but it works pretty well. Pretty well. Say, how many times can I say that in one sentence?
I like how Foxy's curtains are just like old grandma curtains.
Wait, where's Foxy?
Playing his pirate band.
Oh, Chica's in the hallway corner.
Uh-oh, Freddy time.
Okay, Foxy's curtain is open.
Bart, I don't want to alarm you, but there's a burglar in this house.
Guess based on where they're going. Chica's on the stage again. Okay, Chica's leaving the stage again. I don't know where Freddy is. I'm gonna assume he's in the kitchen.
He's right there.
Oh my gosh!
I genuinely have such an advantage, I'm not even joking, because they're just giant. You physically cannot miss them.
Yeah. Oh shit. Hi, Bun. What? We let Freddy get us! Now, this map is very simple, so it's not like there's a lot of, like, little details or anything to really go into. It's a very straightforward creation, but I think it works very well. I like this map a lot. But I think it's time to move on to a bit of a more interesting one.
I've got the same of both toy, and it turns out I want Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash.
Which one is
Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash.
Well, I wanted Shadow and Knuckles, and I got two Shadows when I bought the Happy Meals. You don't see me complain.
It didn't look right. I didn't want to put it on there, so I gave Knuckles a red beard. I thought it was kind of cool for Knuckles to have a little goatee and make him feel a little bit more confident while he's out there doing his thing.
So the next one I wanted to look at today is a map called Five Nights at Pinkies, based on the popular My Little Pony cartoon. And this map is unique in this fact that it has its entire, like, own game mode tied to it. Like, they didn't just use the normal FNAF game mode. For some reason, this has its entire own game mode and title screen. The map was created by these people, and the description is a big talker. Office with working camera / monitor / security tablet, fully working animatronics, the main 6 as animatronics, power switch for start the night, cute and creepy ambience, ponies who want to kill you, isn't that cute, map plus Lua codes for the best experience, the most advanced 5 Nights at What You Want map ever made, every sound customized for Pony, or almost, Windows scare / warning sound, 6 nights of pure pain, more the 2 last, whatever that means, brought you friends on your server and tried the survive. You don't need Counter-Strike source. If you are curious, there is some hidden Easter egg. Now, the most advanced 5 Nights at What You Want map ever made is a bold claim in theory, but at the same time, I can't think of many other ones that aren't a recreation of a FNAF game. So you know what? Yeah, this probably is the most advanced character insert FNAF map. But we won't know until we've actually tried it, so let's get into it. But before that, I do want to explore the map a bit first. Hey, there's Trey Sparkle.
No.
Is that...
Leave me alone! Can you see I'm killing myself? My life is over!
So far, so good with actually exploring the map because it's very, very detailed. There's a lot of unique textures and stuff. The layout for the map is entirely unique. And I just overall think the aesthetics are pretty on point here. Really no complaints with the maps. It even has a basement and everything and like a Pinkie Pie bedroom or something. This is a pretty good map, I'll be honest. It's fairly small for a FNAF location, but still, it's pretty cool. It even has a fully featured outside area, which is very uncommon to see. And out here we can see that the place is called the Sugar Cube Corner Replica, which, I'm gonna be honest, is a really crappy restaurant name. I feel like just Sugar Cube Corner would have been fine, but you know. Also, I get it, like Sugar Cube, like what they give the horses as treats, I get it, that's clever. Although I should probably credit the actual show for that, because apparently that's a thing in My Little Pony. I've never actually watched it. I've only seen, like, the movie, and that's the only My Little Pony media I've ever watched. You know, now that I know it's an actual thing in the show, man, this is not a good replica. It's like calling the Nickelodeon water park a replica of Bikini Bottom. Also, something I find weird is how the office in this building is probably the least detailed room in the entire map. Like, for being the one that you're supposed to look at the most, there's no posters, there's no, like, decorations, there's no props, it's kind of just desk, empty room. But to be fair, the actual, like, camera system does work very well. So the game opens and we see this newspaper, which reads, "The Sugar Cube Corner replica is seeking for a security guard nighttime. Watch a camera can make our place safety. If you can do that, call the 265-720, and then it's splat out with ink." Now, I'm gonna say that they probably don't natively speak English based on how this is typed out. So, how is this map gameplay-wise? Well, it does start with a phone call, but we'll talk about that later. For now, I'm just going to talk about kind of like how this plays, and it's FNAF 1. It's just FNAF 1. It does have like a multi-floored building, which I guess is a bit of a twist, but I didn't really see them getting much use out of the extra rooms. There was no real concrete way to like stop them, because like, okay, it's like you close the door on one of the ponies on the and then like they'll go away, but then you'll open the door back up and then they'll kill you anyway like a few minutes later, even though they never reappeared at the door. I'm not exactly sure how you're intended to like beat this, because I at least couldn't figure it out. It was very like strange. Also, there's like a marionette character that comes out of a music box but then just free roams like any other animatronic. That was confusing to me. There's also this weird mechanic to turn off your light in your office, and I'm not exactly sure what the point of it is. There's a phone call at the beginning of the night though, so I suppose we should listen to that.
Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? I can't hear you. Just kidding, man. I got you. It's just a tape. Welcome to the Sugar Cube Corner replica. Made for bronies, Bye, bronies.
Now, obviously, I mean absolutely no hate to anybody, but it's just, as a complete outsider, it's really, really funny to hear, like, the explanation for your job, and then they say, this place was made for bronies, by bronies. Like, canonically, in the lore of this game, bronies are the reason why this establishment exists. It's not, like, licensed by, like, Hasbro or anything. This is just, like, a fan project that they bought a whole building for and made animatronics and stuff. And that makes this game, like, that is 10 times better than what I would have expected going in. And I'm also a pretty big fan of how faithful the pony designs actually look to the original counterparts. Like, these animatronics are very accurate despite, like, the creepy eyes. And then also, it's got the trope where it's like a FNAF fan game that's, like, based on another IP. And they don't just want to, like, assign roles to characters. They want to, like, make them cosplay a bit. So then they just, like, put a top hat and bow tie on the main character because why not? I always find that stuff pretty silly, and it's just as silly here. And I want to mention that I'm aware that Five Nights at Pinkies is a thing beyond just this map, and it's been around for a very long time, and it's not necessarily obscure, it's more so niche. Since, you know, autistic people, I'm autistic, by the way, but, you know, autistic people, we tend to gravitate towards things like FNAF and Sonic and, like, Nintendo and then My Little Pony. There's a lot of overlap between franchises with large casts of very colorful characters. So obviously there were 7.3 million My Little Pony and FNAF fans who clicked on this. It's my two favorite things bundled in one, said somebody probably. And I believe the whole Five Nights at Pinkies concept started out with this video from 9 years ago in the series, which basically just like live action skits with actual My Little Pony toys. This is more than I've talked about My Little Pony in my entire life, and I feel like I'm gonna get jumped by a bunch of Five Nights at Pinkies truthers. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know about this until like a week ago, and I'm completely out of the loop. I don't know what this is. And I'm getting nostalgic over things that I wasn't even there for. Like, I didn't know what Five Nights at Pinkies was when I was younger, but I'm getting nostalgic for some of these videos I'm finding, because there's some real time capsules out there.
I really want to grab my Foxy plushie right now. I don't have a Five Nights at Pinkies plushie, I'm sad. Hey, you got Tiny Box Tim. Yeah, I do. I'm gonna go get him. Tiny Box Tim!
I haven't heard anybody mention Tiny Box Tim since 2015. That is crazy to hear. I went on a little side quest during this video's production to, like, look at very, very old, like, Let's Plays of this from, like, 2015, 2016, and, man, this is just joyful. This is awesome. It's just taking me back to that time period. I'll be honest and say I couldn't be happier with the time period I grew up in. This was an era of peak fiction. But anyway, back to gameplay stuff. Now, I'd like to give some tragic news that, sadly, I can't quite get this map to work. Now, I could get the FNAF mode, like, working kind of okay, but it's not to the degree where, like, I can actually, like, figure out what's going on. And also, I tried loading up the map again, and I don't know what the hell happened. I tried reinstalling all the add-ons again. I don't know what happened, but, it's just a, like, purple checker error now, so I really can't play this map, and I hate that, because I wanted to beat the game, but I went back to it like a day later, and now it looks like this, and I can't get the version where you, like, you're able to walk around and the animatronics still move. Can't get that to work either, so yeah, I guess this map is just broken, and I don't really know how to fix it. Like, okay, I have no idea what happened. I quadruple checked on every single add-on to make sure I had everything installed and everything should be working, and nothing changed. Really, nothing changed. I didn't have to reinstall anything until it just started doing this randomly. I have no clue what happened to my game, but I can't play it. I don't know, I just can't. At least I think it is. I really hope it isn't. If there's something I'm missing, please let me know, because I am genuinely distraught about this. But I suppose from what I was allowed to play when it was working, I think this was a pretty good FNAF 1 recreation, albeit it doesn't explain its mechanics very well. Like, I didn't figure out what the hell the light at the top of the office is supposed to do, and I don't think I ever will. The doors didn't seem to quite function when I was using them, but in the sense that they didn't really keep any animatronics out. The game mode only seems to be halfway working. It had most of the functions there, but it felt like the gameplay wasn't really clicking together, and I feel like it wasn't originally like that. The animatronics would stay at the door for way too long, they'd leave, and then you'd open the door back up because they're gone, and then they'd magically appear again, and then they'd kill you instantly. It was pretty confusing for me.
Wait, who is?
Twilight Sparkle, I think?
Yeah, that's Twilight Sparkle.
She has, like, weird spider eyes. What the?
Uh-oh. Well, that's no good.
What is this? What is on my camera? What is that?
She's like teabagging you or something?
Okay,
you got put in like a toy box, I think.
I don't know what having my light off means exactly. Like, does it even affect the power? Because it looks like I'm still draining.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
Okay, you're in a storage closet. You're in dining room. Okay. Are you gone? No. This bitch don't leave. As you can see, I had a very riveting experience in the little time I had with it. But, oh well. Five Nights at Pinkies is pretty cool. I like the map a lot. I like the mechanics. I think it has a good idea. It has a lot of good ideas. I wish I could play it through because I'd like to, but hey, we got more maps to look at, so for now, so long Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash. Now before we get to the big stuff, the big finale stuff, let's talk about a few smaller maps in this equation. So, first one I want to talk about is Five Nights at Lily's. Now who is Lily? I don't even know. But they have their own Garry's Mod map, and I don't, so they must be of great importance. I don't have my own GMod map, but I do have my own plush that you can buy right now if you want to support the channel. That was shameless. Anyway, Lilac McSantabutt made this map. That is their current Steam display name, so I will refer to them as such. The description of this map makes a very strong stance that they have abandoned FNAF and not to ask for any more updates, so yeah, that's a thing, I guess. No more FNAF maps from this person. And this is a old version of the map. There is a redone version, and to be fair, I will look at the redone version instead of this original one that the creator claims is crappy. Now, the original version of the map that I'm showing on screen right now is from 2015, and something peculiar I noticed in the Q&A section is this bit of info.
You stole Keithy's textures! You can't do that! What? Are you stupid? Keithy got his textures from FNAF's game files, so technically they're not his.
FNAF is a pre-rendered game. I don't think the textures from the maps are in the game files. Abandoning FNAF before you even know how the games are made. I see how it is. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't want to be here either. So to cover the original map pretty quickly, it's pretty much a standard FNAF 2/FNAF 1 hybrid pizzeria. Nothing too fancy here. Very, very simple, minimal props in every room. Although it does have some cool interactive stuff, like a music box you can actually open and climb inside of. That's pretty cool. And beyond that, this map is just way bigger than you'd think it'd be. It has a very bare bones, yet extremely large amount of outside areas, as well as very long, mysterious hidden passageways. This map has a weird obsession with prisons, mainly from Half-Life. You can find Nova Prospect by going not too far out from the pizzeria, and then you can also find that prison from the one level in Half-Life 2. I don't remember. Is this also Nova Prospect? I don't remember. It's been a bit since I played the game. You can find this strange Mario 64 Peach's Castle-esque hallway with G-Man at the end, and there's just a very, very long corridor that leads nowhere. And what you actually have to do is go through one of the paintings on the walls, which will lead you to a corridor that actually does go somewhere. And this real hidden corridor does lead you to two different places. The first of which leads to this weird courtyard with like a bunch of trees and like storage containers and a random like empty building. I have no clue what this means. And if you look further into this area, you find a lake or a swimming pool, whatever this is supposed to be, which honestly just brings up more questions. And the other pathway, which you access by breaking through a wall, leads you to a mysterious bedroom, which when you break through the window in the bedroom, you'll find the prison. Now, do I think this map is supposed to have lore? I hope not, because it would be genuinely incomprehensible. I can't decipher a single meaning of anything in this whole map, and I don't think it's meant to have a meaning. It's just a fun little FNAF map, and you know what? I can imagine having some fun sandbox in here. So that about sums it up for that one. Let's look at the remake, which is apparently much more fleshed out. And I actually remember this one, because I actually played on it a bit, I'm pretty sure. So upon opening this map, we're met with a much better office setup, better textures, better models, more detailed. This is just a complete upgrade in nearly every way. And we're also stepping up in the lore department, because there's actually a lore note here. The note reads as follows. Don't trust that Faz Kitty animatronic. In 1976, she tore an employee's arm off after he hit a child. He deserved it. But we had to stop free roaming for Faz Kitty and her friends. I think this may have pissed off what's inside her. For some reason, they free roam at night, and they think the night guard is a child abuser. If Faz Kitty or any of her friends say they're not gonna hurt you, they are lying. Use the yarn ball to ward off Faz Kitty, and use the computer to play sounds to scare off the others. It shouldn't be that bad, unless you encounter Purple Lily. Now, I have many questions. I'm just general. Holy god, is that G-Man? I don't even care who Purple Lily is, dude. G-Man is canon. This is canon to the Half-Life universe. This is a good map now. Past the strange G-Man monitor, you can find a strange vent that leads to a room that just has the word Lily spelt out in, like, metal bricks, and that's kind of it. And as you can see here, the prize counter only solidifies our theory that this takes place in the Half-Life universe. It's basically undeniable at this point. We get the extra useless party rooms, as any good FNAF map should have. The main dining area / show stage area is pretty standard, but overall is very aesthetically pleasing. I think the pinks really helped this location stand out compared to a lot of other FNAF maps, and it was definitely a good call. It gives this location a lot more of an identity compared to what the original map had going for it. The arcade on this version of the map looks like the creator just put all their favorite games in here, which is honestly kind of awesome. This version of the map is just oozing with personality in a way that the previous one just never did. But in exchange for having a lot more quality put into it and personal touches, I feel like it loses a lot of what made the original map just captivating, because the original map is so interesting to me because it's genuinely incomprehensible. So I wouldn't really call this remake a suitable replacement for it, it's more so just a different take on it. Personally, I like the original map because it's crazy. There's no design decision for the building makes sense. There's crazy long hallways that lead to barren, empty courtyards everywhere. It's such a weird, otherworldly map, and I really enjoy it for that. This map is very professionally made, and you can tell that by the time they remade it, they clearly had a ton of extra experience. And it shows, because this is a very competently made GMod map. And it works much better as an unironic FNAF location that you could actually do stuff in GMod with. But hey, just because I said the original was more, I guess, interesting, that doesn't mean this one doesn't have its own, like, weird edge to it, because something weird about this map that genuinely creeps me out is what's behind the pizzeria. The first time I was looking through this map, the hotel / apartment building behind the pizzeria has genuinely freaked me out. I always feel like something's gonna jump out at me or there's gonna be some jump scare here, and even though I know it's not gonna happen, every single time I revisit it, for some reason my brain keeps telling me it's gonna. It's just so weird. This dark, ominous, like, apartment building behind the pizzeria with a bunch of rooms that look identical, and the rooms are filled with way more props and detail than anything else in the map. It feels so out of place, and it's genuinely creepy. Not to mention this absolute nightmare fuel basement area below it, and this random room that has, like, a dead combine in the bathtub for some reason. The railroad part of the map is here again, and it's more fully realized than it was in the original map, which is cool. And what's here basically boils down to just a bunch of Valve references and some random stuff. The first stop on the railroad is this seemingly closed off building of some sort. It's not really clear what this is supposed to be. If there's a reference to something that I'm not getting, please let me know, because I'm at a loss here. I feel like it is a reference to something because it looks very specific and it looks kind of familiar, but I genuinely have no idea. The next stop is a recreation of the front entrance of Black Mesa from the original Half-Life, which, hey, this is pretty cool. No clue why it's here, it's pretty bare bones, there's not really anything to do in here, but it's neat. And the next stop, even as someone who's more of a Half-Life fan than a Portal fan, I can easily say this is a way cooler room, since there's an actually, working box puzzle in here. That's pretty cool. It's probably nothing too crazy to implement since this is just an asset from Portal, but it's still very interesting to see here and way more in-depth than I would have expected from any Easter egg in this map. Now the final stop on the train track is literally just an abandoned building that's wrecked. It looks like it might have caught on fire at one point. This is really lame. This isn't cool at all. I don't even know what this is supposed to be, if it's a reference to anything. And going through the rest of the train track will just lead you right back to the pizzeria. Now, gonna have to dock some points for not including Nova Prospect. So overall, my thoughts on this redone map is, I think it's a worthy successor for sure. It's much more functional, much more playable, and I really enjoy it. I don't know, these maps are just kind of weird and random and neat. I don't really know any deeper lore behind them, if there even is any, but for what they are, these are fun little maps to explore, and that's all they're really trying to be, it seems. Now, this video's getting pretty long, so for time's sake, I'm not gonna spend too long on this last one. One, because I think you guys should play it for yourself, and two, because I feel like it could honestly warrant its own video, because it's genuinely impressive. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Remake is the best FNAF map I have ever played on Garry's mod, and honestly, one of the best FNAF 1 remakes I've ever played. And it's all in Garry's mod. This add-on is actually wild. So, it does use the Help Wanted models, but it has an extremely accurate and faithful FNAF 1 map recreation, where the animatronics are actually programmed to walk around the building and stuff, and it looks very, very good. It basically takes the framework from Help Wanted's FNAF 1 remake, and just improves upon it and turns it into something a lot closer to the original game. With the added addition of free roaming, cause obviously it's in Garry's mod. And this map was so fun to play around in. I genuinely had such a blast with this one, and I seriously, I don't know, I have too much to say about it to where I kind of just want to make its own video, because I don't think including it in this video at the very end would do it justice. But I'd just like to mention this because this is a really, really awesome map, and hey, if you guys are interested enough in this video, maybe I'll actually go ahead and do the video on this map, because I got a lot to say about it. This is a great remake. It's even compatible with Stop It Slender of all things. This is awesome. And I'm 99.999% sure there's secrets I didn't discover with this one, which I'm also pretty sure there were ones with the other maps I looked at in this video. I definitely didn't see everything Finance that Pinkies had to offer, but this one, I feel like I'm kind of obligated to look into this one further. I want to beat this fully. So yeah, play this map, I guess, because this map is really, really cool. And hey, if you guys like this video, like I said before, I'll make a video on that map, but I'll also probably talk about some other ones too, because there are definitely a lot more FNAF maps that I don't see get enough appreciation on GMod that I would like to talk about, but you know, I don't want this video to take a billion years to make, so if you guys are interested, I'll gladly make a part 2 and talk about more of these. So until then, get the Night Bunny plush right now. It's only available for a limited time, and I think you should get it before it's gone, because I think it's pretty cool. And I worked very hard on it, and Onaj worked very hard on it, and it's It's awesome, and it's a good way to support the channel. Okay, bye. Like and subscribe.